All right. Welcome, especially those of you tuning into the replay. I'm going to share my screen and we are going to have a conversation that I titled New Levels, New Devils. And what I'm going to talk you through is the obstacle that you must overcome at each level of business before moving on. Every level of business is going to have an obstacle. You've got to overcome that obstacle before you get to the next one. I want to walk you through this so you've got a visual, you can see it, you can call it out, you can know what your next step is. See, everybody wants to win. Go ahead, put a 2 in the comments if you want to win. Yep. Lots of twos, 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 twos. Everybody wants to win. Nobody signed up and became a life insurance agent and joined Symmetry because they thought to themselves, you know what? I actually like losing. I'm perfectly content to lose here. You did not go through the trouble to get a life insurance license in order to lose. You didn't do that. Everybody wants to win. But the difference in life and business is never the desire. Everyone wants to win. Wanting to win isn't enough. It's not enough that you want to win. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to get the job. They're only hiring one person. Everybody wants to win the championship. Everybody wants it. It's not the differentiator that creates and makes winners. There are sequential obstacles in this business. Overcoming those creates winners. It's not about what you want. It's about what you're willing to work for. It's about whether you're willing to overcome the obstacle in front of you. Each of these obstacles is going to offer a fork in the road for you, is going to offer a choice. You're going to have the choice when you come across that obstacle to quit, to stay put, or to overcome it. I'm going to walk you through every single one of these obstacles that you're going to face in this business. Every one. And I'm going to walk you through what quitting looks like, what staying put looks like, and what overcoming it looks like. You guys ready for this? I'm ready for this. Let's talk about your first obstacle. First one you're going to face in business. Your first obstacle is going to be the schedule. It's your very first obstacle. Very first one you're going to face. And the schedule, you're either going to quit, you're going to stay stuck, or you're going to get past it. That's going to be true of every single obstacle you're going to face. You're either going to quit, stay stuck, or get past it. So what does that look like? With the schedule, when are you working and what are you doing during that time? When are you working? Every one of you successfully filled all 24 hours of every single day of your entire life not doing Symmetry things before you came here. Just because you came here, you didn't magically get an extra 15 or 20 hours. So doing anything here is necessarily going to come at the cost of something you otherwise would have been doing. What is that thing? Or those things? What are you sacrificing? When are you actually going to work this business? See, if you look at quitting, that's an option for you. You can, if you don't get over this obstacle, if you don't figure out when you're working, if you don't cross that bridge, your other option is just quitting or staying put. So quitting, that's the most common response. I watch more businesses die before they ever even start than I watch businesses fail. Some people do fail here. Most people who quit, they actually never start. They don't even know. They never get their schedule off the ground. They never figure out when they're going to dial. They never figure out when they're running appointments. They never figure out how to get on training calls. I don't know if they just go about their life. I don't know if they just sort of like wait for a sign to drop from heaven and be like, now is a good time to dial. And even if that sign came, you would probably think of something else you'd rather do. This is going to be a discipline that you're going to have to figure out. And again, you're going to quit, you're going to stay put, or you're going to overcome it. Quitting is the most common response here. Again, I watch more businesses die before they ever start than I watch businesses actually fail. So your other option is staying put. This is also a common one. Every few months, I watch someone realize why they signed up to do this in the first place. Hey, I'm actually in now. Before I thought I was, but boy, was I busy and I couldn't really get it. So now I'm back and I'm really going to do it this time. And they don't because they haven't figured out their schedule and they don't know where to fit it in. So what happens? A few months later, hey, guess what? I thought the last two times I thought I was serious, but no, this time I'm really, really serious now. Okay, great. Quit, stay put, or overcome it. I mean, those are your options. Well, you don't want to quit and you haven't committed to overcoming it. So what's going to happen? You're going to stay put. And in a few more months, what are you going to do? You're going to put your hand up and you'll be like, I'm back. So I know it's getting, I'm like, I know I sound like a broken record right now. I know, but I'm really, really back this time. Guys, I've been here 3 years. I have heard this song over and over and over again, over and over. And all it is somebody that has not yet overcome their very first obstacle, but they also haven't quit. That's what staying put at the first obstacle looks like. You never figure out how to put it into your calendar. You never figure out how to actually work. You don't want to quit because you did get this far, but you're also not overcoming obstacle number one, the very first thing. You can't move on until you cross this bridge. So your choice, if you're unwilling to quit, your choice is actually overcoming this or just coming back in a few more months, really, really ready this time. So make your choice. Quit or overcome or stay put. Those are your only options. Which one do you want to do? I suggest overcoming it. So what does overcoming it look like? It means blocking time, deciding ahead of time. When are you working? Blocking that time, setting activity goals, not results goals. Activity goals. I'm committed to making this many dials. I'm committed to showing up to this many training calls. I'm committed to setting this many appointments. It looks like making sacrifices. I was going to do this. Instead, I'm going to stay and work. I even want to do this. I'm going to have the discipline to show up and work. The people that overcome, they get into the learning curve. The people that stay stuck on calendar, they're not even in the learning curve. They haven't even earned the right to start the learning curve because they haven't even figured out when they're going to get into the learning curve. They show up, they do a little bit, they disappear for a while, they come back, they're not building momentum on what they did before, they're starting from scratch again. There have been a lot of people I have had to onboard multiple times, literally. Here's how you get started. Okay, cool. Not going to do anything. Going to disappear. Hey, I'm ready. Okay, cool. Here's how you get started because you forgot and didn't do anything. Here's how you get started. And then they disappear. And then they're back. I need it from the beginning again. Okay, here's how you get started. When does that train stop? How do you want a mentor to mentor you? Block time. Set activity goals, make sacrifices, get into the learning curve. What does that look like? What does overcoming the schedule look like? 2 training calls per week minimum, camera on, engaged in the comments. 300 dials minimum. Active in GroupMe. Active, not just reading it. Hey, congrats. Hey, I need help. Hey, I need this. And then working in the workroom. So you're associating and you're part of the community. Guys, here's the secret. The community is everything. We win because of our culture. We don't win because of our script. We don't win because the number of dials. We are winning as an agency because of the culture. If you're not participating in the culture, you're missing the greatest asset to your business and your goals. This is what overcoming your schedule looks like. It looks like finding 2 training calls per week. Looks like making 300 dials minimum, being active in GroupMe and working in the workroom. You're going to block the time for those activities. Then you overcome it. Finally, beat the schedule obstacle. Back on your way. Now you're ready for a new obstacle. Are you ready for it? Now you run into the learning curve. Man, all that work just to get to the learning curve. You have to master your schedule before you even get to the learning curve. Now let's talk about the learning curve. You don't even get there until you figured out your schedule. I could talk about the learning curve all day long. You haven't even earned the right to begin the learning curve until you master your schedule. But once you master your schedule and you overcome that, now you're in the learning curve. And in the learning curve, surprise, surprise, you're going to quit, you're going to stay stuck, or you're going to get past it. So let's talk what that looks like. 1,000 outbound dials and running 20 appointments. That is your learning curve. 1,000 outbound dials, not calling 1,000 leads. You can triple dial a lead. That's 3 dials on 1 lead. But 1,000 outbound dials is going to get you comfortable on the phones. It's going to get you comfortable setting appointments. Running 20 appointments, not setting 20 appointments, running 20 appointments is going to get you comfortable with the underwriting process, the process of helping choose what is the right policy in this situation, and then learning the sales process of establishing the need and presenting your policy proposal as an obvious solution to an obvious problem. That's what the learning curve looks like. Okay? That's what the learning curve looks like. Now, quitting. Quitting during the learning curve is relatively common, depending on expectations and your ability to contact people. I watch people quit for 2 reasons. One, they just had unreal expectations. They thought they were going to be good at this. They thought this was going to be easy. And they thought this was going to happen fast, and they just had unrealistic expectations. Maybe they talked to someone like, oh, it's the easiest thing. You just call people and they buy insurance. It's so easy. And then you realize, wait a minute, no, it's not that easy. You had wrong expectations. I watched people quit because they had wrong expectations. If you're out there building, I'm building. I'm bringing a lot of new people in here. I'm very, very clear that this is the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's super worth it. I want to set those expectations from day one that, yeah, this is hard and there's a learning curve. It's going to be harder than you expect it to be. You're going to be worse at this, and it's going to take longer than you want. But it's going to be worth it. So I watch people quit here because they didn't have the right expectations. I also watch people quit here because they lack the ability to contact people. Either they just don't have a big network and they have no friends and family to contact, or they have absolutely no lead budget. There is nothing worse for a salesperson than having nobody to talk to. But if you do not have or are unwilling to leverage your warm network, your referrals, your acquaintances, and you're unwilling and unable to buy leads, who are you expecting to call? Who are you expecting to run appointments with? Where are you expecting business to come from? So when people quit in the learning curve, they quit because they're unwilling or unable to contact people. You got to overcome that. You got to figure out there again, there's nothing worse for a salesperson than having nobody to talk to. Who are you going to talk to? You got to get through 1,000 dials and 20 appointments. Where are they coming from? Can you pick up your phone with the people you already know and set 20 appointments for these next 2 weeks? Go get through that learning curve. But this is where quitting happens, and this is why people quit in the learning curve. How about staying put in the learning curve? It's very common. It's very common. As people don't play to win, they play not to lose. I want you to hear that again. People stay in the learning curve if they're not playing to win, but they're just playing to not lose. In their mind, minimal investment is minimal loss. So they're not thinking, how do I win? They're thinking, how do I hedge my bets in case this doesn't work out? What's the minimum I have to do? What's the minimum number of dials to fit into my schedule to sacrifice? What's the minimum lead investment? What's the minimum time? What is this actually going to cost me? I don't know what it's going to cost you. What are your goals worth? We don't choose the price. You can want whatever you want in this life, just whether you're willing to pay the price. And the price for all of us is different. I've talked about this before. My brother looks like he'd come from the cover of every men's fitness magazine. The dude eats Twinkies and Ho-Hos and yo-yos and overproduced pastries and a box of Lucky Charms every day. And he looks like He-Man. I've got to be super careful to not pop a new stretch mark tomorrow. Like it's not, we are somehow not the same. I'm allowed to want to look like him. I got a different price to pay than he does. I don't know why. I can call it unfair, but all my goals ask is, are you willing to pay the price? That's all your goals ask. So when people stay put month after month after month and they're not getting through the learning curve, they're not getting those 1,000 dials, they're not running those 20 appointments, it's because they're playing so small, they're never making progress. I know people here right now, they've been here more than 6 months. I even put at the bottom 9+ months, and they still haven't done 1,000 dials, and they still haven't run 20 appointments. I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know. But they've got to overcome the learning curve if they're going to move on to the next phase in business. And if they're not going to make $1,000, they're not going to run 20 appointments. I don't what are you going to do? I guess you're going to stay put or quit, because the only way to overcome the learning curve is 1,000 dials running 20 appointments. The only way through the learning curve. And you've got to get through the learning curve to even get to the next level in business. So your choice is to overcome it, or you can stay put, or you can quit. I don't want you to quit. I don't want you to stay put. So what does overcoming it look like? It looks like massive action, constant correction. Both of those. Both are equally important. Massive action. You've got to have a large data set to draw conclusions from. But then constant correction. You don't want to swing the bat wrong 1,000 times. You got to tweak it. You got to learn. You got to get those 1,000 swings, but you also have to adjust your grip. You got to learn it. It's massive action and constant correction. And I watch people swing the pendulum. Either way, they focus on massive action. The numbers owe me. I'm just going to keep doing it, and it's got to work out. I guess in theory, you also might just suck at it. Like there's that too. Like the numbers don't owe you if you're just bad at it. I don't know what to tell you. But then I watch people swing the other way, and they focus on constant correction where they hyper analyze every swing. So they never get into massive action. They do one dial and they overthink. They have one ghosted appointment and they overthink and freak out and want to correct. And what did I do wrong? There's a balance. It requires both massive action, so you've got a data set to analyze, but then it requires also actually analyzing it and getting better. That's how you're going to get through the learning curve. Massive action paired with constant correction, not either or, both. It requires playing to win, putting the best of you out there, not the least possible investment, putting the best of you. You're playing for your goals, the life you want, the legacy you want to live. You're paired in a place that you believe is going to get you there. So play to win. It's the only way you're going to get through the learning curve. Start developing results-based goals. Start not thinking of 300 dials. Start thinking of dial until I get the appointments I need. Start thinking of whatever it takes. I need to get to the next level. I need to make this happen. Track data. Know your ratios of appointments set to appointments run to apps submitted to policies issued. Track that data. Refine your skill set. Learn what you're bad at. Learn how to get better. Ask how to improve. The biggest differentiator in this season is the people who fail put the system on trial and they ask if they're going to win, whether or not they're going to win. The people who will get through this, they ask how, not if, how. The sooner you can get yourself to start asking how instead of if, the better. You're going to get through this. The people who get stuck here ask if the leads work. The people who win ask, how do I make the leads work? The people who get stuck ask if the scripts work. The people who get through it say, how do I leverage the scripts? But it's going to take massive action and constant correction. It's going to take playing to win. It's going to take results-based goals. It's going to take dialing until. It's going to take tracking your data, refining your skill set. The goal for the learning curve is 1 month, 1,000 dials and 20 appointments, 1 month. That's your goal. Don't stay there longer than that. Set 20 appointments ASAP, even if it's with family. Do 1,000 dials your first week. Andrew Jimenez banged through 1,000 dials his first weekend. That's massive action. I'm on the accountability call every morning looking at new agents that are like, okay, you did 10 dials yesterday. It's great. Let's try to up it to 50 in a sitting, 100 in a sitting, get to 300 minimum in a week. But then I want you to even start thinking past the dial number, which is irrelevant. I want you to think like you're homesteading and you're going hunting, you got to feed your family. And so you're out there, you're in the woods, in the wilderness with a rifle. You got to come home with some meat. And you're like, well, exactly how many miles do I have to hike to find the food for my family? I don't know, but you can't come back empty-handed. So it's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to take what it's going to take. Go get it. You got to feed your family. All right. You did it. You overcame the learning curve, 1,000 dials and 20 appointments. Now, only now are you ready for the next obstacle. The profitability. See, the learning curve isn't typically profitable. It's why you want to get through it fast. Most people in the learning curve, they don't have fun and they don't make money. Put a 3 in the comments if you want to stay stuck, not having fun and not making money. Amber, -3. Yeah. Nobody wants to not have fun and not make money. You want to have fun and make money. That's on the other end of the learning curve. Until then, you're not having fun and not making money. Why get stuck there? As fast as possible, get through that. That's going to bring you to a place. Now we can talk about profitability. Now you know what you're doing. So let's focus on profitability. So you can't get here until you figured out the learning curve. See, one of these depends on the next one. And profitability, you're going to figure this out, or you're going to get stuck here, or you're going to quit. So quitting. Quitting's 50-50 depending on their belief level in themselves and the system and their willingness to identify problems and ask for help. So when people get through the learning curve, so they're making some money, they're selling stuff, but they're right on that line between like making as much as they're spending. So some months may be good, some months not good, and they just kind of ride that line. Now, are they going to quit? Well, 50-50, depending on whether their level of belief in themselves to get past this or the system to get past this, and or their willingness to identify problems and ask for help. The people who quit here, they don't know what they're doing wrong. They don't ask for help. They just ride it until they feel like they can't afford it anymore. And like, man, this hourly rate sucks. And then they're out. Some will believe in themselves like, man, I can stick this through. Some believe in the system. I can stick this through. But 50-50, depending on that, a lot of people quit trying to be profitable, just not quite getting it figured out. Other people stay there. They stay right in that line, and a lot of people plateau here until they commit to getting past it in one way or another. Let's ask for some transparency here. Put a 4 in the comments if you're stuck here. You're through the learning curve. But man, you ride that profitability. It's hit or miss on a month-to-month basis. All right. We got some 4s here. So what are your choices? Those of you with a 4, what are your choices? Your choices are to quit, to stay stuck, or to overcome it. How many of you want to quit? Probably none of you. How many of you want to stay stuck here? Probably none of you. How many of you want to overcome it? Probably all of you. Great. So let's talk about what overcoming this looks like. It looks like breaking something. I've had this conversation with the accountability group. The people who are stuck getting the same results month after month after month are often doing the same thing month after month after month after month. They're making the same investment. They're doing the same dials. They're running the same appointments. And they're just, when is it going to happen? When is my ship going to come in? It's not. Go break something. Literally 10x your investment. If you're spending $100 a week on leads, spend 1,000. If you're making 300 dials in a week, make 3,000. Literally break something. You've got to break the trend, break the routine, break the normal, break the average. You've gotten in this rut. You've got to completely break something. Become deployed. I thought of that in my mindset. We got military service members. Their profession, their job requires them to leave their families for a period of time. When I came back here, January of 22, I didn't have the luxury of seeing if this was going to work. I didn't have the luxury of riding a line of maybe profitable, maybe not for month after month after month. I didn't. I had to figure this out or we didn't have a house. I figured this out or we did not have food to eat. I treated myself like I was deployed. If I had to work 100 hours in a week, I was working 100 hours in a week. People are like, oh, but I need balance. There's no balance if it's feed your family or die. There's no balance. And I don't know. I don't understand the word. I don't speak that language. I speak a language of winning. That's my language. If you're looking for a language of balance, you're talking to the wrong guy. I will never offer you balance. I will offer you winning. Winning, here's a secret, comes often with front-loaded sacrifice to all the freedom you want on the back end. But we break something. I treated that season like I was deployed. Son, I love you. I'm going to try to get to your game. There's a solid chance I'm not going to make it, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. I could go to his game, and then we wouldn't make a mortgage payment. So yay, balance. Yeah, like I don't know what to tell you. Like yay for balance. We don't have a house. I don't speak that language. And some of you will tell me my back is against the wall. I have to make this work. I have no choice. But you're still pursuing balance as a goal. And you're riding month after month after month, doing the same thing every month, just hoping for different results. It's not going to happen. Go break something. Become deployed in your mind. Maximize your PPL, your price per lead. That's a metric we look at. Price per lead. Maximize that. Get multiple applications from a single appointment. Don't look at one lead, do one sale. Get on the phone with their beneficiary so you can let the beneficiary know. Get on the phone with the contingent beneficiary. Get referrals. Get into their network. The Symmetry system, when it first started, leads were not available. They were very rare. Someone would have a standing lead order for their county. An agency owner would have a standing lead order for leads in their county. They would get these leads. They would drive around. They would work these leads. When they brought in a new agent they believed in, they would hand that lead order over to the new agent. Now they wouldn't have any leads, so they would be leveraging warm network, referrals, associates, acquaintances. They would be digging into every single place they could possibly dig up business from. You want to maximize your price per lead in that season. It is not a lead to a sale. It is not a 30% close rate. It is multiple applications, multiple clients from one single contact. You're focusing on instant issue products, products that are going to not get hung up in underwriting. You're focusing on products that are going to protect that family on that phone call and pay you the next day. You are building, introducing people and bringing them in. I was bringing people in while I was figuring this out. It wasn't even profitable. It wasn't about what I had done. It was about what this thing was going to do. You're going to maintain a P&L sheet, profit and loss sheet. You're going to track your numbers. You're going to know your expenses. You're a business owner. You're going to know your expenses and you're going to know the money coming in. You can't manage what isn't measured. If you want to manage your cash flow, you need to measure your cash flow. You need to know what's coming in and what's going out. So in this season, you're going to break something. You're going to maximize your PPL. You're going to focus on instant issue products. You're going to build, and you're going to maintain a P&L sheet. Those of you that put 4s in the comments, I'm giving you your way out here. I'm giving you your way out. You're going to figure this out or you're going to quit or you're going to stay put. And you don't want to quit and you don't want to stay put. This is your way out. This is your recipe. Break something. 10x your investment. Become deployed. Maximize your PPL, your price per lead. Focus on instant issue products. Build, and maintain a P&L sheet. This is your recipe to get profitable. All right. You did it. You broke something. You got deployed. You crossed the bridge. You figured it out. Ready for your next one? Bum, 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 bum. Now you're profitable. So now you're dealing with the scalability. Making money is cool. Making money is great. Let's go to the next level and start scaling this thing. What's scalability look like? See, you can't even get to scalability until you figured out profitability. You can't, scaling zeros don't work. Scaling zeros don't work. You want to get yourself profitable, then you want to scale. So let's talk about scaling. Yeah, Tara, 0 times 0, 0. Can't scale zeros. So you got to figure out profitability. Then we're going to scale it. So scalability, you're going to quit, you're going to stay stuck, or you're going to get past it, guys. It's every obstacle. Those are your only options. So quitting here is super rare. You're already profitable. You're already winning. I don't see people who are profitable quitting. That does not happen. This is super rare. So that option's really not on the table. People aren't quitting here. They're either staying put or overcoming it. What does staying put look? Staying put is common for people focused on building because they're trying to balance production and building. So they're trying to balance running interviews with prospective agents at the same time they're trying to run appointments and make sales. And that balance is really difficult. So they're profitable, they're making money, but they can get stuck in the season for a little while. It's not really common for producers to get stuck here. If they're not focused on building, they can just scale their production. They already got good at it. They're already profitable. Now they can just move on. Go do more of it. Go make money. We got people making 200, 300 grand a year on production. Great, rock out with it. If you want passive income, that's going to be building. And if you're building, there's a chance you're going to get stuck at the scalability piece where you're profitable. You talk to a lot of the agency owners in this company. They're at a place of profitability and they're struggling with the scaling. Why? Because they're balancing building and production. If they gave up on building and just produced, they'd make a ton of money. But they've got a vision for passive income, and so they're scaling down their own production to balance interviews at the same time that they're running appointments with clients. And so that necessarily puts them in a position of balance. So what's overcoming this look like? On the producer side, it looks like straight up going to elite producer. Go start Dylan Craning this stuff. Go like Meg Madison. You're going to be doing 30K on your own pen, making 20K a month, living life. Go scale. It's going to look like building to RAD plus, not just getting to agency owner. A RAD is a regional agency director. This is going to be an agency owner that has 2 agency owners direct to them. You want to get there and beyond. That's when you're going to start scaling. That's when you're going to have builders building. This is where you're going to start leveraging systems. It's not just about you and your effort. It's about pointing people in the right direction, having onboarding systems, plugging into processes. You don't want to just own a job. You want to own a business. Owning a business is leveraging systems. This is going to look like getting into a season of mastery. You're already good. Remember, you're profitable at this point. Now's your season of mastery. We expect a surgeon to be a master of his craft. We expect a pilot to be a master of his craft. We expect a professional athlete to be a master of their craft. I've never understood why we don't expect that same mastery from ourselves. That's their profession. This is my profession. The guy that goes on the basketball court, that's his job. This is my job. In no world do I expect him to be better at his job than I am at my job. That pilot that's running the plane, I expect that dude to be able to fly that plane. I also expect that I'm going to be just as good at my trade as he is at his trade. I've never in my life expected less than that. I'm in my mid-40s. I'm at the peak of my professional life. And will be for the next 15 years or so. Why in the world do I expect other people in their mid 40s to be better at their jobs than I am at mine, to be more practiced at their craft than I am at mine? Why? This is your craft. Go get good at it. Master your craft. Patience, practice, obsession. That's how you're going to scale. You're going to enter a season of mastery where you're going to become not just a professional, you're going to become an expert. There's a difference. Now, you did it. You mastered your craft. You're building leaders, you're leveraging systems, or you're producing at a high level. You are a master of your craft. You are an expert at what you do. Now you face your last obstacle, the leadership. The leadership's a tricky one because this is one that you actually learn along the way, and it's a lifelong refining process. This isn't one that you have to overcome the scalability to get here. This is one that's coming with you the whole time. The whole time. Now, you're going to quit, stay stuck, or get past it, but quitting is very rare. The people who have already scaled and are running big businesses successfully only happens with a loss of passion or an inability to realize the impact of others. I haven't seen it personally, but I have seen people sell their symmetry businesses. And that's going to happen because they just kind of lost their passion for it, or they're not realizing that their impact on other people. They were ready to retire or face a new challenge. But that's rare. Most people, by the time they've scaled this and now they're focused on leadership, quitting is rare. So staying put at a point of scalability and finding a ceiling is going to be common for those who have not fully embraced an obsession with self-development. You want to move from scalability to true impact to true leadership, you're going to become obsessed with self-development. The earlier, the better. You're a brand new agent on this call, become obsessed with self-development, become obsessed with reading. It's one of the core values of Symmetry, relentless pursuit of personal development. Relentless. I went through a long season where I read about a book a week. I'm probably now 2 books a week. Slowed down a little bit. I am a voracious consumer of content and an implementer of that content. I'm always trying to be better. I'm haunted by who I have the potential to be. I want to go be that guy. I'm haunted by it. So you can stay put and not overcome this, but that's only going to happen for the people that have not fully embraced self-development. Overcoming this leadership obstacle looks like having a vision bigger than the people you lead, being more committed than the people you lead, and having an emotional stability bigger than the people you lead. And that starts with you. Leadership always starts with you. We say that we are a leadership development company that happens to sell life insurance. You first learn how to lead yourself. Then you learn how to lead agents. Then you learn how to lead leaders. And leadership always starts with having a vision. Where are you headed? Where are you going? What do you want with your life? How does this business play into that? It's vision. See, I have to, as a responsibility and a leader, I have to have a vision for an agency so big, your vision can fit there. Do you get that? If my goal was to make 50 grand a year, and that's my goal, how am I going to have 10 people making 20 grand? Or sorry, if my goal is to make 50 grand a month, how am I going to have 10 people making 20 grand a month underneath me? If you've got a goal to make 50 grand a month, if you got a goal to make 100 grand a month, well, then my goal better be huge. Good thing I've got a big goal. Good thing I've got a big vision. My vision is so big, we're going to be a $150 million agency. Last year, we were a $6.5 million agency. This year, we'll probably be an $8 million agency. I'm going to a $150 million agency. You know what that means? That means I got a lot of room for you to go grow to whatever you want. Your vision has to be able to be big enough to encompass the vision of the people you're leading. At first, that's just you. You better have a vision for yourself. Where are you even going? And then once you know where you're going, how committed are you to actually getting there? Are you going to overcome the obstacles along the way? Or are you going to quit and stay put? See, those are your options every time. And then how emotionally stable are you going to be when you're overcoming those obstacles? If you get in a boat, you want a captain that knows where he's going, that's committed to getting there, and is emotionally stable so he doesn't freak out every time there's a storm. A lot of you are leading your life. You've got no vision for what you even want for your life. You have zero level of commitment. You're half in, half out, gonna quit, not sure. You've tried 15 other things, none of them worked. Freak out every time something goes bad. This is leadership, vision, commitment, and stability. You won't even follow you until you develop these things. I did a call not long ago where I talked about not being able to afford leads, and that's real for a lot of people. But I want to be really honest with you. The fact that you can't afford leads isn't the problem. It's a symptom of a bigger problem. It's a symptom of the fact that you can't afford a lot of things. It's what drove you here. You've got to solve that problem. It's not the leads and it's not the buying the leads that's the problem. You got to heal your relationship with money. That's the problem. It's vision, commitment, stability. And leadership. To overcome this leadership thing, you never fully arrive. It's a lifelong journey. You learn that life is not about you. Business is not about you. You start to lead when your goals are no longer about you. And you recognize that your results are just a byproduct of helping others. You've stepped into leadership when all your goals are about impact, when all your goals are about who you're helping, when all your goals are about other people getting to their goals. See, my vision, I already told you, my vision's huge. And that encompasses a lot of people winning. I need other people to win. I need you to win for me to get where I'm going. I'm also so committed to getting there. I'm absolutely going to get there. I won't ever leave this. I love what I do because of the impact I make. You could pay me 10 times what I'm making and you couldn't lure me away because of the impact that I have the opportunity to make here, because of the lives I have the opportunity to change. Money. See, leadership, when it clicks for you, my goals are not about me anymore. You can't pay me enough to go because it's not about me. I'm here for you. I'm here for you to win. I'm here for you. This is why you're going to get on my calls. I'm not always going to be nice, but I promise you I'm going to be clear. I gave you some hard truths, and some of you had to be really vulnerable and really transparent. And I kind of throat punched you tonight. I did that on purpose. Some of you have been stuck far too long. I need you to start winning. You need you to start winning. Your goals need you to start winning. Your family needs you to start winning. It is time to stop deciding between staying put and quitting, and time to overcome. I gave you your roadmap. Let's go to work. I love you all. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to make impact. Thank you for showing up. I don't take attendance on this. I never know who's here or not here. I just hope and pray that I deliver enough value that this is worth coming to on a Wednesday evening. You could be anywhere else. Thank you for coming. I hope it was worth it. Let's take this and run with it. You should all have my cell phone number. If we've not talked this week, you have not tried to. I'm here for every one of you. My favorite agents are the ones that blow up my phone the most. Let's go do it. Have a good night, y'all.